My name isn't important at first. That's how I learned to survive. On the island, names were liabilities. They took them from us early, replaced them with numbers, rules, silence. People like to imagine horror as loud screaming, chains, violence you can see. But what happened on that island, off the Florida coast, was quiet, efficient men in linen shirts and clean shoes who spoke softly and never raised their voices. They told us we were lucky. They told our parents it was a rehabilitation retreat, a place for troubled girls, a chance to reset. Some of us were foster kids. Some of us had records. Some of us were just inconvenient daughters. I was 19 and poor and had no one powerful enough to ask questions when I disappeared. The island didn't need fences. The water did the work. They told us the boats came twice a week, but no one ever left. The abuse wasn't chaos. It was scheduled, Tuesdays and Fridays. We learned to count time by it. And the worst part wasn't what they did to our bodies, it was how normal they made it feel afterward. Breakfast at 8, yoga at 10, journaling about gratitude, trauma wrapped in wellness language. When I finally escaped, it wasn't dramatic. No fire, no rescue helicopters, just a maintenance worker who forgot to lock a supply shed in a storm that made the guards lazy. I swam until my muscles burned and my lungs felt like they'd tear. And when I collapsed on the mainland, the first police officer asked me what I'd done to deserve being there. That's how I knew the island wasn't a secret. It was an arrangement. For 2 years after, I didn't talk. I worked night shifts. I avoided mirrors. I learned how to disappear in plain sight. Then one morning, scrolling through my phone in a diner in Jacksonville, I saw the headline, "Anonymous lawsuit alleges systemic abuse on private island." Anonymous? Always anonymous. I recognized the phrasing, the euphemisms, the careful language designed not to scare donors or politicians. I finished my coffee, paid my bill, and walked outside shaking. That was the moment I understood something fundamental. They were counting on our silence, the same way my parents once counted on mine. And silence, I had learned, was never neutral. It always protected someone. I went home, opened my laptop, and started writing everything: dates, names, schedules, the brand of soap in the showers, the man with the silver watch who always smelled like citrus. I didn't write because I was brave. I wrote because I was tired of being erased. While they were still hosting fundraisers, when the reporter finally called, she sounded careful, like someone approaching a wild animal. "We want to make sure you're ready," she said. "Once your name is out there, you can't take it back." I told her I knew. I'd been invisible my whole life. I was ready to be seen. The interview aired on a Tuesday night, prime time. I sat alone on my couch, knees pulled to my chest, watching my own face on the screen, hearing my voice steady in a way I didn't feel. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I described systems, money, paper trails, the way abuse hides best inside respectability. I said the island wasn't a monster, it was a mirror. Within hours, other women came forward. Then more. By morning, lawmakers were shocked. By afternoon, donors were reviewing their involvement. By evening, the man with the silver watch had resigned from 3 boards. My phone filled with messages from people who'd never protected me but now wanted to be associated with my survival. I ignored most of them. The real moment came a week later, when subpoenas were issued, and one of the island's founders released a statement calling us confused and emotionally compromised. I recognized the strategy: discredit the witness, pathologize the truth. What he didn't expect was that we were ready. Trauma makes you observant. We had receipts, shipping logs, medical records, photos we'd smuggled out on broken phones and old flash drives. The press conference where he denied everything played on a loop. And for the first time, people weren't nodding along. They were listening to us instead. My revenge wasn't watching them get arrested, though some did. My revenge was quieter. It was watching the island get renamed on Google Maps, watching donors scrub their names, Watching a senator cancel a vacation he'd taken there every summer. Watching a system realize that the girl set discarded had grown up with memories sharper than its lawyers. I still have nightmares. Healing isn't linear, and justice doesn't erase the past. But every time a new article runs, every time another survivor says, "I heard you and it helped me speak," something in me settles. I didn't win by becoming untouchable. I won by becoming undeniable. They thought survival meant silence. They were wrong. Survival, I learned, is testimony. It's telling the story exactly as it happened, in your own voice at full volume, and letting the world adjust. If you're listening to this and you're still on your island, literal or metaphorical, hear me clearly. The system needs your silence more than you need its approval. Your story is not dangerous. It's expensive, and they're afraid to pay the cost.